Hey guys, welcome to 3 kilobytes. Let's call it 4 kilobytes because I'm here. Today we're in Toronto and we're taking a look at Ubisoft's brand new game Watch Dogs, which is a pretty cool game.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Shane.
And today we have a special guest from Rerez TV, the man himself, Shane.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Do you feel weird that there's no one walking behind you with a camera, tracking you?
Little bit weird, but I think we'll manage.
We just got back from the launch party for Watch Dogs, and guess what we got to do there?
We got to play Watch Dogs on the PlayStation 4 for the first time.
First things first would be gameplay. Yeah. What did you think of the gameplay?
I was really impressed. I mean, it's kind of got this Grand Theft Auto vibe to it, but with like a bunch of different added on elements that just add to the gameplay and make it really, really interesting.
It's so fun to play. That's the first thing I have to say is we played a demo that's actually been played before. I think they've shown it at E3 last year. It's where you have to infiltrate one of the terminals. You have to hack it, and then you release a part of the map, which allows you to use your hacking abilities. So in this demo, you had, how many different ways do you think you can get into the little section? There was like...
I couldn't, you know, honestly, every single person we saw that was playing the game, just out there with everybody, everyone was playing it a different way. Some people were driving cars in.
That was you,
yeah,
like a crazy maniac.
Killing everyone, because that's
I was being cheap by just going on the rooftop and just shooting people. So it's hard to tell you exactly what it controls like, but I can say it's a cross between Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed. And the driving, people were not sure about, but I can confirm now that I've played it at the launch party. The driving is amazing. It's so well tuned. All the different cars controlled differently. I didn't notice anything off in the driving. I thought it was perfect. And the fact that it was so... It was actually, I'm going to say it, better than Grand Theft Auto 5's driving.
It was good.
It was really good, and to the point where it can become a racing game too, just like Grand Theft Auto 5 is. It's more realistic than Grand Theft Auto 5.
For sure, yeah.
Explain the cars, because you were the one that pointed it out, and I was like, that's true.
So like there's a, from just a tiny little bit of what we played, when you're driving a truck, it feels like a truck, you know, there's a lot of weight behind it. But the tiny little things that they were doing, like there was a sports car, and we were damaging the sports car, but the smoke wasn't coming out from the front, it was coming out from the back because this specific sports car had the engine in the back. Little touches of details like that throughout the game.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that is we kept noticing more and more and more and more. Yeah. In past games, you're wondering, well, what's so next-gen about this? I can honestly say, from this demo, I didn't see too much. Let me be honest. That was like, oh my god, this is next-gen. But there are hints in this demo, which is an old demo. You know, I don't know when this demo came out, but I haven't played the final game yet. But this demo did show certain things of the horsepower of the PS4 and what it can handle. So for instance, when you run a post over now, it shatters differently, like a wooden post in the game. So in Grand Theft Auto 5, you run over the post, they fall over and roll around. Yeah. In this, wooden posts will shatter and like break in different spots, and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. The detail level gets to a certain point, and it doesn't go above that. So there were certain things, like we went into a pawn shop where there was a television that was turned on. You could shoot that one television and it would explode, but there was another television in the pawn shop that you would shoot, and it was just like, it was like shooting a wall.
And like, you don't know if like in the final game that's actually going to be, you know, fixed or whatever. But there was like a lot of those tiny little details that really added this really nice, rich flavor to the entire experience that, I mean, I can honestly say that this exact same experience, the one that we just got on the PlayStation 4, you would not get that on a lesser system, I don't think, because the rain effects.
Well, yeah. Well, explain the rain. So, that was insane.
What I loved about the rain was that the rain looks real. When puddles happen on the ground, you can actually see this like resilience off the, like kind of like a sheen off the water.
Yeah.
And that stuff just makes the world seem really real. But then you have the ability to slow time. I think they called it focus.
Yep.
And you can slow down time for just a little bit. And on this version of the game that we played, when you slow down time, the individual raindrops slowed, and you could actually see them as they were going down. But there was a lot of raindrops. It really felt like they were...
It was amazing.
Yeah, there was a lot of just extra detail that you would not see.
You know what else was amazing? When you slowed down time and turned, you would see the raindrops hit the side of the gun. And it was like, holy shit. Like, details like that really put you into the environment. I can honestly say it looks better than Assassin's Creed 4 next-gen version. Best explosions I've seen.
Yeah,
in
hands
general.
down.
It was they're amazing. Cars don't explode like little tinder boxes anymore.
Yeah.
It's really hard to actually explode a car in the game unless you actually put a sticky bomb on it. Then it'll explode, and that's awesome. The hacks. Let's get into the hacks. The hacks are what make this game just silly, because you get to this mission and you look at it and you go, well, I could open the gate. I can go over the fence here and then sneak up behind this guy. And you're not even thinking in your head you can hack at this point. You're just like, it's a Splinter Cell game, but it's just a different atmosphere. And you're thinking, this is so much fun. Like, how am I going to actually get in there and get away with it? And you realize at that point, oh, wait a minute. I can, like you said, just hack to the cameras and use certain abilities with the hacking to get all the way to the hack box that you need to get in the middle of the mission there. And you did it without even opening the gates.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm so excited for this game now. When we both played it, we were playing it like a shooter. We were playing it like any other game we've played, but with this specific design, with the hacking element, you could stand outside of the facility you're supposed to break into, hack a camera. From that camera, see somebody else's, see some guard that has a cell phone, and that cell phone's just in his pocket with the camera sticking out. You hack that camera, you get inside that little thing, and he's walking around, and you're going around hacking other cameras, hacking people's devices, and you can beat the entire level without setting foot inside the facility, without sneaking in, without doing anything. And it's just, it makes it feel like a puzzle game after a while, where you're trying to find a way to do something without having any involvement with the environment physically, and it's just interesting. I mean, really cool.
We sat back after we both had beaten it, and we were like, let's just see how many different ways it can be done. And just sitting there for 5 minutes, you would see people driving cars in there. You would see people trying to lure this drunk bum who was like kind of hanging out. You pointed out, I wonder if you can like open the gate and get the bum to run in there and cause a ruckus. And while that's happening, you go on the rooftop, and it was like, okay, that's another way that probably can happen. And then there was just like people doing stealth, people not even going in there, people using the abilities with the cameras to hack the camera and then hack the transistor boxes, which would shut the power off. Yeah. So you open the gate, shut the power off, and now it's pitch black, and now it's a whole, this is where it comes to another level of gameplay where it goes from day to night. Yeah, and you know what? The day and night cycles, some games, all they do is they just, turn the filter down, and it's just like a little bit darker, and you really can't see anything. In this game, it's day and night, it's nighttime. It feels different. It's the lighting effects that really start to stand out.
Usually when you see first-person shooters, any kind of 3D game, when they have like a spotlight, the spotlight is just like a white light, and it's just round or whatever. In this game, when the car one of the cars drove up to us against a wall, and when it got really close to us, the headlights were on the wall, but the headlight lights looked like real headlight lights with deformation. They kind of had this like kind of crystally look to it, and it looks like it was an actual headlight from a car. And it
looked really, really good.
And it's funny too, because like all these tiny little details, you probably don't really think much of it, but then when you play the game and you start noticing them all together, like wrapped up with one another, it adds to this really big kind of design choice that they made, where they were really trying to go for something more realistic and less something cartoony,
But let's keep in mind, it still is a video game, so it's not like a sim. It's not as unforgiving as Splinter Cell could be. Yeah. In the sense that the shooting is really well done in the game, but it also is not it's GTA shooting. Let's just say it's just on par with GTA's shooting abilities. How do you feel about the graphics?
Honestly, the graphics to me were really impressive. I mean, the tiny little details that they put into the game all over are magnificent, but one of the coolest things really is the rain. You can see all the little individual raindrops, going into the little puddles on the ground, and you'd think, well, you know, it's not going to look that different compared to everything else, but when you look at the main character, you can actually see his clothes is getting wet, the raindrops are hitting him. The car that we were driving actually had like little raindrops hitting on the hood, and you can see all that. And it's just a lot of extra details. It actually feels like it's actually raining in the game.
It hits the coat, and it's like absorbed by the coat, or it goes down the coat, and
Yeah.
you're just like, it's things you've seen in games before, but the difference here is it's everything you've seen in games before,
Yeah.
plus now this hacking ability, plus the fact it's a driving game, plus the fact it's a Splinter Cell game, plus the fact it's an Assassin's Creed game. And then on top of things that we didn't even see there, that I haven't even tried, like online, this game just has so much potential, and I think to me, it's kind of proven that.
Yeah.
Now I need to see the story. I need to know that it's not just a simple story, you know, just hackers running around, there's the bad guy, they get him. You know, I'm pretty sure here we're in for a serious game. This is a serious franchise, and everything that we're worried about is gone for me. Like, I was worried about the graphics, of course, just like everyone else. I wanted it to be at least on par with Assassin's Creed 4, and I can happily say it's above that. In terms of the driving, I was so worried because they don't have a good track record with driving games. They kind of...
It's like when you see a game like this, you're worried because you're trying to take every kind of genre and mix it together. So you feel like...
It's hard to do.
Yeah, you feel like maybe they're going to miss something. But everything we did felt solid. Like, it felt like it was well done. It felt like you had a lot of control, a lot of abilities. There was a stat tree that you could use.
That was something we didn't even get into.
Yeah.
But like you said, and then there was crafting abilities.
Crafting abilities, stat trees. There was there's like experience points.
It just was insane. Then there was like a media player for your phone, so you could hack. You could hack like songs off of radios. There was mini games that are in the phone, which we didn't even get into. We should have tried that, but it was just too much because we were like, let's try this way this time. I'm like, don't touch any of the guards, don't go past the gate. And he did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to basically go in but stealth, don't get noticed. I did that previous to you, and it was just like, how many different ways can you play this game?
Yeah. I mean,
and that's what makes it interesting.
When you're thinking of the hacking ability, don't think of it like, it's just like time-specific events where you can only use it once in a while. You can look at somebody just randomly off the street and you can find out a lot of information about them. And in some instances, you know, maybe that information doesn't help you, but with the security guards, you'll find out which security guard will call out for backup. And
exactly, it's important.
Yeah, and if you get rid of that security guard, the other ones they don't have the rights to call into the security office and bring more people in or whatever it is.
Exactly, because they have certain ranks.
Yeah.
So if you just killed like the lower ranks and not the top guy, he's going to run to get help. The other thing is, we didn't even experience the police in this because they shut the police off so we could just focus on this one mission. So that's another thing I can't make a comment on if the police are good in the game. But I can tell you now that the driving and most of what you'll be doing with the police, which is driving, the driving is incredible. Like, it's really well done. I thought this could just be a racing game. Is there anything negative you can say about it?
I mean, from what we experienced on the demo, I gotta say, everything that they showed really worked well. There was not one thing that they showed us that didn't have any issues. I mean, it was really, really tight. And I don't really think that there's much to worry about. If you're buying this game and you just want a stealth game, you're gonna get that. If you're buying this game and you just want a shoot 'em up, you're gonna get that. If you're buying this and you kind of want a weird puzzle type game where you never actually interact with anybody and you're just going through cell phone to cell phone, you've got that. And every type of genre that we basically played in that one game worked flawlessly.
That's the thing about it. That's what made it good. And then on top of it, it's also a driving game.
Yeah.
And the online features are coming. So, in closing, I am so excited for Friday.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea. And thank you to Shane from Rerez Television. I personally watch his show, every episode he puts out. Amazing content. He does a show called Positives where he takes like a game and points, like a shitty game, so like E.T., and he'll have to find the 4 positives. And you found 4 positives with E.T. I was impressed.
Yeah.
And then he'll take games like Super Mario Brothers, and he has another show called Negatives, which I think is pretty funny because he has to take a game that's well loved and find the shitty negatives in the game, which you just did Mario.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'll link actually a positive episode and a negative episode below, so you can check those out. We'll see you guys for the Watch Dogs review. I think I can't say anything. See you soon.